Hi, on behalf of ChicagoMusic.org and Beat Latino, I'm Catalina Maria Johnson, and I'm talking with Steve Sizemore, all the way from Louisville, Kentucky, and going to be talking about a group that's visiting us here in Chicago, Appalatin, Appalatino. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Steve, this is there are fusions one predicts, right? You're like, oh yeah, I could have seen that coming, but this fusion, a kind of a bluegrass, Kentucky bred, Appalachian, cumbia, Latin mix, this is one that I wouldn't have predicted. So tell me how it all came about.
And honestly, I don't know if we predicted it. When we got together, the original three members got together almost 7 years ago, and just started playing music together that we were familiar with. And two of us lived in Latin America, and one from Nicaragua, Marlon, moved here.
Wow.
And so from there it evolved. We're just sharing songs that we knew, trova music, and some bluegrass tunes, and just it evolved. And it's been organic all along. And then when Fernando joined us, brought the Andean sound, and we just discovered through time just our little flavors. Each of our flavors. Luis brought the harmonica in a little later, so you've got little tinges of flavor that have organically defined our sound. And believe me, it was not intentional. We said, okay, I wrote a song, and let's play it. Okay, you add this, you add that, and then that's who we've become.
So tell me about each of the members then, and where they're from, and then just a little bit about the instruments. You play the percussion, so you're the percussive element of the band.
Sure. Years ago, I became fascinated with sort of the Afro-Cuban, Afro-jazz, Cuban jazz, or Latin jazz, I guess, music. And then from there, that was our original kind of fulcrum that we all were interested in. But I play the hand percussion. I'm originally from Eastern Kentucky. Went to school in University of Kentucky, and then traveled to live overseas in Chile and Argentina, and became fascinated with the Andean sound, with the Brazilian sound, all of Latin America. But then, like Yanni Vosos, he's from Eastern Kentucky originally, but did spend 2 years in Honduras doing Peace Corps. So he became interested. He also became interested in the music of Jarabe de Palo from Spain, and so his influences came with the Buena Vista Social Club, and mine with that, and others. And then we met Fernando Moya, who's from Quito, Ecuador, and he plays the charango and the whole assortment of Andean flutes, the zampoñas. And he's magnificent. I can't wait for Chicago to see him. And then Marlon Obando is from Nicaragua, a small town, San Lorenzo, outside of Managua. And he is a songwriter, that from that vein, kind of the trova music. That's his influences, like Silvio Rodriguez and Pablo Milanes and stuff like that. So he's brought that element. He's also an archaeologist, spending time in the jungles of Central America. So he's got that side. And then Luis de Leon is from Chiapas, Mexico, via Guatemala City.
Wow.
He is a journalist by training, professional journalist, but has become a magnificent harmonica player, and has in the last year and a half picked up the timbales. And so he's really defining that sound too. And so he's a real dynamic character, and it's a lot of fun. And then we have a bass player. His name is Jose Herrera, who's Filipino American from Eastern Kentucky. And he's a student at the University of Louisville in the jazz department, and fantastic, really creative, very talented, jazz by training, but world, he's very flexible, and he's been a real natural fit for us. So.
Wow. And now, sometimes when bands try fusions that are unusual, and they mix in like all the Latin, like everything but the kitchen sink in terms of Latin America, sometimes that doesn't work. It kind of, loses something in the process, in the translation. But I've heard a couple of tunes you're already recording, so it's kind of and they're lovely, and there's something there that does work, that that is of Latin America and is of Kentucky, but is new. And what do you think is happening? What's the magic that's allowing that combination to kind of function, to work, really?
I think musically speaking, technically speaking, I mean, the common meter, the 4/4 time, helps. But then the acoustic nature that we play, I mean, we're an all acoustic band. I think so the instruments fit well together. One thing we've constantly worked on are our dynamics, how we fit the dynamics in with that, merging the sounds. But in reality, I think it's just our spirit together. We have fun playing together. I think more than anything, I think our joy that we share playing music is greater than our talent. And our talent is wonderful. Not to say it's not, but I think more than anything, we enjoy every moment that we're playing together. We're very friendly critics to each other and help each other grow. And because of that, we've been able to really work on the sounds. We respect each other's lives and our styles and our everything about us. We've grown together as individuals and a family. So I think that's the real secret to how our sound has evolved.
Wow. Now, who are your audiences? Does Louisville have a Latino immigrant community that is coming out, or I'm curious?
It is a little bit of both. We do have an immigrant fan base, but we also have we've been strategic, I guess you could say, but we've, over the last 4 or 5 years, we've really tapped into the networks in human rights and social justice and local food movement. So we've reached out into the network of the community, and these tend to be people who are a little more educated, who are fighting for certain causes, and but represent the whole of society. And I think we've been able to really capitalize on that approach, because we relate to them, our values relate to them, and vice versa. And we've attracted a lot of people who are just curious, like, what in the world is this? And then I don't know how many times we've played shows in Kentucky, like rural Kentucky, where it's like, man, I've never heard anything like that, but I like it. It's just like, for somebody like me who comes from those parts of the state, and just to be able to share something that, maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, people would have not been open to it. But now, with the way the globalization has occurred, the internet, people are more receptive to it, and because of that, we've been able to build our audience. People are fascinated with us. So.
And Steve, you're talking about the values of the music kind of meshing or interacting well with the values of human rights groups and maybe immigrant reform groups.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about that. Do you feel that because your music, the music I've experienced, isn't overtly political, as far as I can tell. It's beautiful, but it's not. It doesn't have like a forefront kind of message that's being put out there.
We tend to avoid direct, not by. I don't think we've intentionally done that. But we stay more along the lines of the emotions. So creating joy and happiness and community. I mean, that's our mission. We're about spreading joy and love and hope. And we could write songs, like, for example, we've talked about this, writing songs, about some political issue. But if we do, we're going to find the positive aspect of it. We're going to find a way that gets people to rally around an idea that is positive. And I think that's just that's each of our individual missions, our values as individuals. So I think more than anything, that is what our songs tend to go towards. It's about freedom of the individual and happiness and finding a good quality of life.
Well, thanks so much, Steve. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I can't wait till you bring some of this joyful energy to Chicago.
We're really excited about coming to Chicago. I mean, it's right in our front, not too far away, and
practically neighbors.
Yeah, the greatest thing we're looking forward to is, like, these guys are from Kentucky.
Well, that was my first reaction. It's like, what?
Yeah.
But it sounds beautiful, and I've enjoyed very much what I have heard. And if people want to check out the music before, what's the website to go to?
Sure. It's just Appalatin.com, Appalatin.com. It's all there.
Wonderful. Well, we hope this is the first of many visits, Steve. Thanks so
Yeah.
much.
Gracias, Catalina.